Hi, how's it going? Today I'm gonna talk about the spacing method that I use in the Brazilian accent improvisation method. That is a very useful with very clear results. You can see the improvement very fast in the process, but it has one challenge that it's very counterintuitive. Many people start to do it, but they start to change. They start trying another things because they lose themselves in this process. And I'm gonna tell why, and I'm gonna tell about my understanding of this. Uh, how First thing, if you don't know the spacing method that I apply, uh, the spacing method I combined some concepts of how our brain works, of some books, and I create one cycle of repetitions and plays that will give you a very fast result. Um, Let me explain in one example. For example, if you are trying to read a song and if you have difficulties with reading, I recommend you to just try to choose three phrases of the song, circle them, and you have three chances to play uh, to play the first. But you don't have to play from the beginning to the end of the phrase. You have to play till you get in a point that you commit a mistake, or a point that you think hard to continue. You don't play the next note, you return to the beginning of the song, the phrase, and or a point that you lose yourself. So this will be our stop point. When the mind gets overwhelmed, I don't recommend you to continue, because the more information you give the mind after overwhelmed, the mind won't catch this information. So it's better you return and repeat, and to make a review of what you have already done, and give more strength to this memory in the mind, that you fight to go to the next note or next thing that will happen in the song. So you do three times till this moment that you think your hand doesn't continue, and so you go to the next phrase you circled. After that, um, you're gonna repeat the same process with the next phrase. As humans, we want strongly to get to the end, but it's not the objective. It's just try where it's easy for you and review it. When you review, sometimes the next note that it was harder or that you committed a mistake will be more obvious. Your mind will be refreshed, and you'll be capable to play without thinking strongly. So you continue, just stopping the point that you have to strongly think, and or like I said, other times you commit a mistake. So you drew three, you have three chances of play. So after doing that, you're gonna do it another phrase. When you finish this process, you're gonna return to the first phrase and do all again. And this space between one cycle of three repetitions of different phrases or subjects will give the necessary space to your brain process the previous information and be more prepared to do them. Your brain, I'm practicing with some students, and it's obvious, the changes are obvious, and it's not very common to see obvious changes in music, to see some leaps of your capability. Sometimes you see you improving, giving short steps, but in this technique you're gonna see a more it's more clear, the difference. So you go there and apply, and you can return one more time, do this 3 times. I think this is the optimal point. I tried with 2 times, two things studying at the same time. I tried repeating 4 times, but I realized that the optimal point is to study 3 subjects with 3 repetitions each. All right, this I think is the most clear result I've found in my tests. I always try to test. I sometimes try more 5, but 3 it's optimal. So you can see strong results, but and this will be the point where I realize that students have a strong difficulty to do this, is that they have so many difficulties of stopping where the mind says him or her to stop. Our mind attitude wants to go to the end of the movement, and when we do this, we losing 2 things. We lose energy, because we can do, it's possible to continue, but we are wasting our energy that will make difference when, for example, you have another subject to study. You have less willpower to do other subjects when you are always winning your mind in this manner. All right. And another thing that is, you're gonna lose the memory if you force. You are in a hard part, you force to continue, and force, when you return, you won't have so much memory as if you returned in a point that it started to become difficult. This will make a very strong difference, and in your studies, because like I said, I think we have to study trying to predict that we have to study different subjects. If you are learning Brazilian music, sometimes you are studying the groove, sometimes you are studying the melody of the theme, sometimes you are studying the style. So the more energy you can save, you maintain your head good to continue working. So this is the suggestion, but it's intuitive to us. And when I say the word intuitive, I don't know if in English it has also some people associate here in Brazil this intuition with some mystical things, but I'm not telling about mystical things. I'm just telling about the intuitive. What is intuitive to us? The intuitive things to us. Intuitive are things that we do naturally, that they look natural to be our best solution to do something. for example, for people that already drives, when sometimes some people brake in front of this person will intuitively press the brake. So that are things that are natural to us to deal with some situations. But this is the point. Our natural attitude make us in music do a lot of things that don't help us on this process. We lose time, we lose energy, we started to be frustrated because we are not having results. So I started to understand this when I tested this method with one student of mine. He had many difficulties in playing, and he started to have clear results, clear improvement, and he was impressed during the class how he was capable of doing this in class, but he wasn't capable of doing this during the week. Some bar that he played with a lot of difficulty in our class. We just applied this method, and he saw the strong difference between the different kinds of study. And I told him to study in this way, and next week he didn't study. And I told you again, and I told you again, told him again, and all weeks he returned with studying in the same way he thought is the right way. I didn't understand why, but when I read one book of Dan Ariely, that's called Predictably Irrational. I think this is the right pronounce. He told about his experience at a hospital of burned people. Here in Brazil we call it burned. I don't know if this is the right term in English, but people that suffered something with fire. They had burns in their body, and they had to go often to this hospital to make the treatment, to clean the skin, and to put new I don't know if this is the word curatives. It's something to protect the skin. And he lived this for 2 years, if I remember right. And when he finished his treatment, he started to research ways of doing this treatment in a way that it hurts less, and or the experience of the pain will be better. And he researched lots of methods, and he bought some machines to create pain. And after some years, he had his conclusion of how to do ideal treatment for the burned people. And he did some workshops at for the nurses of the hospital, or to the doctors, and they liked it a lot. They liked the content of his workshop, and they thought that it could be better for the patients. And he started to teach this, and sometime I think 1 month before, I don't remember exactly, he returned to the hospital to see how were the nurses applying his way of treating. And when he returned, he realized they were not applying anymore his method. And he tried to ask these people why they weren't applying this, and the answers didn't convince him. And so then really started to make some tests about this kind of happening. For example, I'm gonna try to say this. He started to test if people change their behavior if they see a new information about something they do intuitively. If I say a new information, don't do this way because this way is not good. You're gonna take more time, or it doesn't. It won't be good for your health. If he started to test people to see, and the results he had were scary, because people don't change their behavior when they have some intuitive solution to something. They just continue doing what they think is good for that solution, even they remember the information that this is not the best way to do something. And I started to realize this pattern between students and even in me that created this kind of dynamics to study. When I stop studying because I'm traveling or I have some other thing to do, I changed my way of studying to the intuitive way. That is repeating more and more and fighting with the difficult parts, continue when difficult. And when I realize that I'm losing a lot of time, I return to the method that I think it's much more it's much more efficient in the learning. So I think one interesting thing about this is this story is important. I think that it's important for all students understand their process, understand that they have to continue trying to do the method because it's gonna work. And I realized that the first months of my class are just to teach the students that, oh no, you tried in the old way, try this new way. And I make all classes, I'm showing them to return the method. They will save time, they will save energy, the study will be much more pleaseful. And there was one interesting situation that I've lived, and I asked one student, and what was your what was your most difficult? Do you have some difficulty studying the way I told you? He told me, yeah, I had the will to do in the other way. It was very strong in me, and and he discovered this counterintuitive action he had to do. And so we returned to the next classes trying to reinforce this idea, and now it's more natural to him. And another thing that I think it's important, sometimes we lose during this process, we lose the main goal we are searching for. For example, you have to play the melody. A student have to play the melody that's difficult to him to read, and he started to be worried in hearing the remembering the song. I'm not hearing, I'm playing, but I don't recognize the song. And this is a kind of losing the main goal of your study, because you have just to read, to do in the way. You don't have to worry at the beginning of reading something of hearing good, to sound good. And people start to create some another secondary objectives. For example, reading in a more difficult octave for his or her instruments, or try to change the tonality. Some things that doesn't need to be done in that time of study, that process. Just try to focus yourself in doing exactly what was what I said to do, or that goal you have. Don't mixture. Don't try. I tried to put now the left hand. I try to think in a harmony. So don't try to create anything besides doing what you need to do in that way. If you're learning melody, just try to learn the melody. If you're learning the harmony, just deal with harmony. And there was one more thing I would like to say about this experience, this counterintuitive experience. I used to say to my students that it's the most difficult part of the method. It's a very easy method, but very difficult to follow. It's a paradox to see this. The easiest part of the method is the most difficult to apply, but it will give result. I remember what I was going to say. I apply this method during 15 minutes. And these 15 minutes are very important, and they are literal. People think that 15 minutes can be studying on the way they want. No, I'm gonna study 20 because I didn't have time. And if we have time, we go very far from the method and we lose ourselves, because we started to continue the melodies and we don't realize. If you put a timer with marking 15 minutes, if you lose yourself during the process, you're gonna hear the sound of the timer and the time is over. And people started to be very frustrated with it, because no, I didn't have time, so I have to do again. No, don't do again. This will be an experience of penalty. You have a penalty because you didn't do the method. In the next day, you be more aware and you're gonna pay more attention to leave that 15 minutes doing what is needed to do. If you try always to change the time, you are cheating the method, but it will cheat you more. You're gonna lose for the method because you won't have the results. So if you try one day 15 minutes, I didn't do nothing, I just studied the second phrase, I lose myself in doing this. Okay, try in the other day to do this again. In the other day you can, for example, start and doing better, but you can lose yourself during the method, and no problem, you return in the next day. if you lose the opportunity of doing this in a window of 15 minutes, in the next day your mind will be more prepared to deal with this limited time, to deal with this limited actions, and you're gonna start to do what you need to do. All right, this is about this challenging method, but it's very efficient. I recommend I started to apply this method in a student that in his first readings he committed a lot of mistakes. He didn't realize he wasn't reading the clef signature. He didn't realize that he was playing with the wrong finger. A lot of things, and he studied a lot. He studied harder. He was very disciplined, dedicated, and when he arrived at the class, I studied for so many hours, and he couldn't play simple pieces. And I start to realize that his brain had to rest. When he did these little rests, changing the subject, when he returned, he was more aware. That's why the reason of this is why it's because the brain. It's because the brain starts to process the information that we stopped to try. So we are studying something. At the moment we start to study another different thing, our brain will passively work on this first subject. And when he returns, finishing the cycles, the brain will be capable of understanding much more information than it would be understanding if you used all this time to repeat the first information. For example, it's very interesting this because sometimes he committed some mistakes and he didn't realize. If I let him continue studying, he would lose him. He would repeat that mistakes lots and lots and lots of time. So in the next time in the next day he returned studying, he memorized the mistakes. This method avoids us to study with mistake because we are always renewing our attention to that part. We are renewing our memory. The memory is heavily stimulated by the process of forgetting. So you forget and you start again, but in this start you can see with new eyes, and your memory, this process of returning to the same information will get the memory stronger. But this is another subject. This forgetting process, I think it's very we can talk more about it. I continue recommending this method, of spacing, for you that have to study different disciplines in music. And I'm telling here, this is the channel about Brazilian music, and I'm always trying to search for new things for my studies and for my students also. And these experiences made me a different teacher here in my city. So I hope you apply, and I recommend you send me your difficulties in your apply. Try to pick different subjects of Brazilian music and study, and tell me your difficulties. Write for me, send me messages. Let's make this method help more people, and let me know what are your difficulties to improve also this method. All right, I hope you have had a good experience. I hope you learn more and more. And so that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you for more lives about Brazilian accent improvisation and all universe involved in this. Bye bye.